The way he been playing, I looked at his stats, and everybody was calling, asking questions about LeBron and Kareem. And I did the 20 years of 20 years. 20 years of Kareem, 20 years of LeBron. LeBron played 82 games, 10 times out of 20. Kareem played 6 out of 20. So there's a lot of comparison. One had a sky hook, one guy who was just a leader of all men on the court. When they always make that comparison, who you like, LeBron or Mike? I says, Frosted Flake, cornflakes. Mike, LeBron. So LeBron got no sugar, Mike got the sugar. So the sugar I ain't have, I'm LeBron because I was cornflakes. So it's always gonna be a comparison.
He was unstoppable. That's what Charles Oakley said about one of the 5 players he truly respected. And when a guy nicknamed the Last Enforcer says that, you listen. Because Oakley wasn't just some role player. He was the bodyguard, the protector, the guy who made opponents think twice before stepping into the paint. And in today's NBA, people say respect is dead. Everyone's friends now. Everyone hugs after the game. Nobody scares anybody anymore. But Oakley, he played in an era where respect wasn't given. It was earned through blood, sweat, and broken bones. So when he names 5 players he actually respected, it means something. These weren't just talented guys. These were warriors who passed Oakley's test. The kind of test that measures killer instinct, durability, and the guts to dominate when everything is on the line. And before we dive into who made this legendary list, real quick, if you're feeling this old school respect conversation, hit that hype feature and give this video some love. It genuinely helps us keep bringing you this kind of content. Now, Oakley's list isn't what you'd expect. He doesn't rank players the way ESPN does. He doesn't care about your advanced analytics or your Twitter debates. Oakley lived in the trenches. He spent 19 seasons protecting superstars, enforcing the no layup rule, and making sure nobody got an easy bucket in his paint. He ranks 4th all-time in personal fouls, and he wears that stat like a badge of honor. Those weren't mistakes. Those were messages. Every hard foul was a warning. Every chest bump was a reminder. And when a man like that tells you who he respects, you're not getting a popularity contest. You're getting a masterclass in what greatness actually looks like. This is a guy who battled in the paint against every legend of his generation. He went to war with Patrick Ewing in practice. He faced off against the bad boy Pistons when they were at their most vicious. He saw firsthand what it took to survive and thrive in the most physical era the NBA has ever known. And through all of that, through all the battles and all the blood, only 5 players truly earned his respect. Oakley's philosophy is simple but brutal. Greatness isn't about being nice. It's not about highlight reels or Instagram followers. It's about impact. It's about showing up every single night and putting fear into your opponent's heart. It's about having a signature move so deadly that defenses break down just thinking about it. And it's about fulfilling your role, whatever that role is, and elevating everyone around you. That's the lens Oakley uses. And through that lens, 5 players rose above the rest. These weren't guys who just put up numbers. These were players who changed the game itself. Players who made the league adjust rules because of their dominance. Players who carried teams on their backs through impossible circumstances. Players who, when the game was on the line and everything mattered, delivered every single time. That's what Oakley values. That's what he saw in these 5 legends. He wasn't impressed by potential or promise. He was impressed by results, by consistency, by the ability to perform under pressure when the entire world was watching and waiting for you to fail. That's the standard. That's the bar. And only 5 players cleared it. Number 5 on Oakley's respected list is Kobe Bryant. And right away, you know, this list is different. Because Oakley doesn't just say Kobe was great. He says Kobe was better than Magic Johnson. Let that sink in for a second. Magic, the guy with 5 championships and the smile that lit up the forum, gets ranked below Kobe in Oakley's eyes. Why? Because Oakley values the killer over the nice guy every single time. Oakley put it bluntly. Kobe is better than Magic. If I would compare anybody to Michael Jordan, it would be Kobe Bryant. That's not a casual comment. That's Oakley saying Kobe inherited the Mamba mentality straight from Jordan himself. The footwork, the fadeaways, the crossovers, the sheer offensive versatility. Kobe could score from anywhere, anytime, against anyone. But it wasn't just the skill, it was the mentality. Kobe didn't want to be your friend. He wanted to destroy you. He studied film like a scientist. He worked out like a madman. He showed up to practice ready to prove he was the best player in the gym every single day. And Oakley saw that. He saw a guy who refused to take nights off, a guy who played through injuries that would have sidelined softer players for weeks, a guy who demanded excellence from his teammates and wouldn't accept anything less. Magic was brilliant, no question. But Magic was a passer, a facilitator, a guy who made everyone feel good. Kobe made you feel terror. And to Oakley, that terror is what separates legends from icons. Kobe earned his respect by being willing to kill you on both ends of the floor, just like Jordan did. When Kobe stepped on the court, defenders knew they were in for a war. And more often than not, Kobe won that war. He didn't just beat you, he broke you. He made you question whether you even belonged on the same court. That's the Mamba mentality. That's what Oakley respects. That relentless, unforgiving pursuit of victory no matter what it cost. Number 4 is Wilt Chamberlain. And this is where Oakley's philosophy really shines through, because Wilt only won 2 championships. In the modern debate, people would hold that against him. They'd say Bill Russell won 11, so Russell is better. But Oakley doesn't play that game. He straight up says Bill Russell is nowhere near his top 10. That's a controversial take, but Oakley backs it up with cold logic. Russell averaged 18 points per game. He played on stacked teams loaded with Hall of Famers. Wilt was a one-man wrecking crew. Wilt scored 100 points in a single game. Wilt grabbed 55 rebounds in one night. Wilt's statistical records are so absurd they feel like myths, but they're real. And Oakley respects that kind of dominance. He says it plainly. You gotta have Wilt in there. People need to stop with how many rings players got and look at the impact they had on the floor. Oakley isn't saying championships don't matter. He's saying they're not the only thing that matters. Wilt changed games single-handedly. He was so physically dominant that the league had to change rules because of him. They widened the lane. They added offensive goaltending. They did everything they could to slow him down, and he still put up numbers nobody has touched since. Oakley even has a personal connection to Wilt's greatness. Oakley once grabbed 36 rebounds in a game, and he says that's the closest anyone in the modern era has come to Wilt's rebounding records. That tells you how untouchable Wilt's dominance was, and it tells you why Oakley respects the big man. Because Wilt didn't need a super team. He didn't need load management. He showed up, played every minute, and imposed his will on the game. That's the kind of impact Oakley values. That's the kind of dominance you can't fake. Wilt was a physical specimen unlike anything the league had ever seen. 7'1", 275 pounds, and faster than guards. He was unstoppable. And that's exactly what Oakley said about him. Unstoppable. No scheme could contain him. No defender could match him. The only thing that kept Wilt from winning more championships was the fact that he was playing against loaded Celtics teams. But on an individual level, Wilt was the most dominant force the game has ever known. Number 3 is LeBron James. Now, this might surprise you, because Oakley is Michael Jordan's best friend. Oakley was Jordan's bodyguard in Chicago. He protected Jordan from the Detroit Bad Boys. He was there for Jordan's broken foot, for his early struggles, for his rise to greatness. And yet, Oakley puts LeBron in his top 5. Why? Because Oakley saw something in LeBron early, something most people missed. Oakley started mentoring LeBron when LeBron was just 16 years old. He brought teenage LeBron, along with his mother and Maverick Carter, to Chicago to watch Michael Jordan play pickup games at Attack Athletics. Oakley wanted LeBron to see what real intensity looked like. Jordan didn't let the kid play that day. He didn't want to risk LeBron getting hurt against seasoned pros, but LeBron watched. And Oakley says he saw the awe in LeBron's eyes. He saw a kid who understood the standard he'd have to reach, and LeBron reached it. Oakley's respect for LeBron is rooted in one thing above all else: body of work. Oakley says, Mike, if LeBron never won a ring, he would still be in my top 3. That is how much he meant to the players in the game. That's massive, because Oakley is saying LeBron's impact goes beyond championships. LeBron made every team he joined an instant contender. He played at an elite level for over 2 decades. He stayed healthy, stayed dominant, and stayed relevant in a way no one else has. Oakley also respects LeBron's leadership style. He contrasts it with Jordan's. Jordan didn't care if his teammates got shots. Jordan was hunting buckets, hunting wins, hunting championships. LeBron makes sure everyone eats. Oakley jokes that if you're open, LeBron will pass your son the ball. That's a leader of men. Now, Oakley still calls LeBron a nice guy compared to Jordan and Kobe. He uses a cereal analogy. LeBron's got no sugar, Mike's got the sugar. I'm LeBron because I was cornflakes. Translation: LeBron is the foundation, the essential player. But Jordan had that extra sweetness, that killer edge that made him unstoppable in the clutch. Still, Oakley's respect for LeBron is clear: durability, consistency, and impact. That's what LeBron brought, and that's why he earned his spot. LeBron proved you don't need to be the killer to be great. You just need to show up every night for 20 years straight. You need to make everyone around you better. You need to carry franchises that had no business competing and turn them into championship contenders. That's what LeBron did. That's what Oakley respects. Number 2 is Kareem Abdul-Jabbar. And this pick is pure Oakley, because Oakley believes you cannot have an all-time list without a dominant center. The game was built in the paint. It was won in the paint, and Kareem was the king of the paint. Oakley's respect for Kareem comes down to one thing: the skyhook. Oakley calls it the ultimate weapon, and he's right. The skyhook was the most unstoppable move in basketball history. Defenders knew it was coming. They studied it, they prepared for it, and they still couldn't stop it. Kareem's release was too high, his footwork was too perfect, his touch was too soft. It didn't matter who was guarding him. The skyhook was automatic. Oakley points out that everyone tries to be like Mike or be like Magic, but nobody has successfully copied the skyhook. That's because it takes a level of skill and consistency that most players simply don't have. Kareem played 20 seasons. He won 6 championships. He's the all-time leading scorer in NBA history, a record that stood for decades. And he did it with one move, one beautiful, unstoppable move. Oakley also connects with Kareem on a personal level. Oakley ranks 4th all-time in personal fouls, right behind legends like Robert Parrish, Karl Malone, and Kareem himself. That shared statistic isn't a mark of dirty play. It's a mark of physicality, of careers spent in the most contested area of the court. Oakley sees Kareem as the gold standard for big men. He groups him with other special centers like Moses Malone, Hakeem Olajuwon, and Shaquille O'Neal. But Kareem is the pinnacle, and Oakley subtly critiques the modern game for moving away from traditional post play. The skyhook is a lost art, and Kareem was its greatest master. That's why he earned Oakley's respect. That's why his legacy will never fade. Kareem represented everything Oakley values: consistency, durability, a weapon nobody could stop, and the ability to dominate the paint for 2 full decades without ever slowing down. Number 1 is Michael Jordan, and honestly, this was never in doubt. Oakley calls Jordan the undisputed GOAT, not just because of the 6 championships or the 5 MVPs or the scoring titles, but because of the killer instinct, the mentality, the aura. Oakley saw it up close. He was there in Chicago when Jordan was still learning how to lead. He was there when the Pistons were beating Jordan up, trying to break his spirit with their Jordan rules. And Oakley made sure nobody touched Jordan without paying a price. That's how their bond started. Oakley became Jordan's enforcer, his protector, his big brother, and Jordan never forgot it. During the 1985 to 1986 season, Jordan broke his foot. He was voted into the All-Star game anyway, and instead of bringing a girlfriend or a family member, Jordan brought rookie Charles Oakley. He wanted to expose Oakley to the league's elite. He wanted to inspire him. That tells you everything about their relationship. Oakley saw Jordan's greatness before the world did, and he watched it grow. Oakley tells a story about Jordan getting pulled over for speeding. The cop recognized him and just said, "Oh, Mr. Jordan, we're sorry. Just slow it down. We'll see you next week." Jordan drove off without a ticket. Oakley uses that story to illustrate Jordan's impact. Jordan commanded a room, a stadium, even the law, just by being himself. That's not talent. That's presence. That's power. And on the court, Jordan had that same effect. Oakley faced Jordan in the playoffs 5 times with the Knicks, lost every series, and he never stopped respecting Jordan's ability to take the shot, to close the game, to break your heart when it mattered most. Oakley's famous quote sums it up. "Mike was better than Kobe. Mike and Kobe will kill you. LeBron is a nice guy, but nobody ever said Michael and Kobe are nice guys." That's the difference. Jordan didn't care about being liked. He cared about winning, and he was willing to do whatever it took to win. That's why he's number 1 on Oakley's list. That's why he always will be. Jordan defined what it meant to be clutch. He defined what it meant to be fearless. And he did it all while carrying himself like the greatest player who ever lived, because he was. Jordan turned basketball into art. He made impossible shots look routine. He made winning look inevitable. And when the game was on the line, when everyone in the building knew Jordan was getting the ball, he still scored. That's greatness. That's the killer instinct Oakley talks about. That's why Jordan is number 1. So there you have it. Charles Oakley's 5 most respected players: Michael Jordan, Kareem Abdul-Jabbar, LeBron James, Wilt Chamberlain, and Kobe Bryant. This isn't a list built on stats alone. It's a list built on respect, real respect. The kind earned in the trenches, in the paint, in the final seconds of a close game. Oakley's philosophy is simple. Greatness isn't about being nice. It's about having a killer instinct. It's about durability. It's about having a move or a mentality that breaks your opponent's will. These 5 players had that. They didn't just play basketball, they dominated it, they changed it, they forced the league to adjust to them, not the other way around. And in Oakley's eyes, that's what separates legends from everyone else. These 5 weren't just great. They were built for war, and that's why they earned the respect of the last enforcer.